small, isolated village, there was a legend about an old, abandoned house on the outskirts. It was said that anyone who entered would never return. One night, a curious young man named Jack decided to explore the house, dismissing the warnings as mere superstitions. As Jack stepped inside, the door creaked shut behind him, and the temperature dropped. He walked through dusty, cobweb-filled rooms until he reached the basement door. Ignoring the growing sense of dread, he descended the stairs. In the basement, Jack found a dusty mirror. As he wiped it clean, he saw not his own reflection, but a gaunt, spectral figure standing behind him. He spun around, but the basement was empty. Heart pounding, he turned back to the mirror and saw the figure again, closer this time. Jack tried to leave, but the basement door wouldn't budge. The figure in the mirror reached out, its hand passing through the glass. Jack screamed, feeling an icy grip on his shoulder. He struggled, but the mirror seemed to pull him in. The next morning, the villagers found the house silent as ever. Jack was never seen again, but some say that on quiet nights, you can hear his desperate cries for help echoing from the basement.
Fade in abandoned house night. The moon shines brightly over an old, dilapidated house, standing alone in a desolate field. The windows are shattered, and the once white paint is now chipped and peeling. It's clear that no one has lived here in years. The living room is covered in dust and cobwebs. An old, tattered couch sits in the center of the room, facing a fireplace that hasn't been used in ages. Suddenly, a loud creaking sound is heard, and the front door slowly swings open. A young couple, Jen and Mike, cautiously enter the kitchen. They are armed with flashlights and are clearly on edge. Jen,
"This place gives me the creeps."
Mike,
Just stick close to me.
as they continue to explore the house, they come across a door that leads to the basement. Jen hesitates, but Mike insists on checking it out. The basement is dark and musty. Jen and Mike cautiously make their way down the stairs, shining their flashlights around. Suddenly, their lights flicker, and they hear a low, menacing growl. Jen,
"Did you hear that?"
Mike.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
They turn to leave, but the door at the top of the stairs slams shut, trapping them in the basement. Jen and Mike frantically try to open the door, but it won't budge. Suddenly, they hear footsteps coming from upstairs. They freeze, listening intently. The footsteps get louder and closer, until a figure appears at the top of the stairs. It's a woman, dressed in a white dress, her hair disheveled, and her face twisted in anger. Jen.
"Who are you? What do you want from us?"
The woman lets out a blood-curdling scream and starts floating down the stairs towards them. Jen and Mike scream and run in the opposite direction, trying to find another way out. Jen and Mike burst into the kitchen, but the door to the outside is locked. They turn to see the woman standing in the doorway, blocking their only escape. Woman.
"You shouldn't have come here. This is my home."
The woman lunges toward them, and they back away in fear. Suddenly, the floor beneath them gives way, and they fall into a dark pit. Jen and Mike land in a pile of bones and realize they are not alone. The woman appears before them, her face contorted into a grotesque smile. Woman.
"You will never leave this place. You will be trapped here with me forever."
Jen and Mike scream as the woman's spirit engulfs them, trapping them in the abandoned house for eternity.
One night, a girl named Emily decided to take a relaxing bath after a long day. She filled the tub with warm water, lit a few candles, and let herself sink into the soothing warmth. As she relaxed, her thoughts wandered, and she began to explore her own pleasure. Suddenly, a cold draft swept through the bathroom, causing the candles to flicker and the temperature to drop. Emily's eyes snapped open, and she looked around, but everything seemed normal. She tried to brush off the uneasy feeling and continue, but the chill lingered. Moments later, she saw something move in the corner of her eye. She turned to look at the mirror and gasped. A ghostly figure stood behind her, its eyes hollow and face pale. Emily's heart raced as the figure seemed to float closer, its image becoming clearer and more terrifying. Frozen in fear, Emily couldn't move. The ghostly apparition reached out a translucent hand, and as it touched her shoulder, she felt an icy chill spread through her body. She tried to scream, but no sound came out. In a desperate bid to escape, Emily leaped out of the bath, knocking over the candles and plunging the room into darkness. She grabbed a towel and fled the bathroom, her heart pounding in her chest. When she finally dared to look back, the ghostly figure had vanished, leaving only an eerie silence behind. From that night on, Emily never felt truly alone in the bathroom. The memory of that chilling encounter haunted her, a stark reminder of the supernatural presence that lurked just out of sight,